Well, I'm now joined by Eric Heller, who is the founder and the chief executive of Marketplace Ignition. Eric, thank you very much indeed for joining us all the way from Atlanta.
Thanks for the invitation.
Eric, as part of the process we go through to look at the valuations, to really understand what's happening to the brands and in particular categories, we get WPP experts from around all of our WPP companies in a room together looking at sector by sector, all those experts. I think it's true to say this year when we did this, there was one common theme that went through every single one of those discussion groups, and that was Amazon. Irrespective of the sector, a sort of a multitude of feelings, either fear of Amazon or anticipation of Amazon entering into the sector and causing disruption. It seems like Amazon is the bogeyman or woman out at the moment. Do you think all brands and all sectors should be worried about Amazon, or is it blown out of all proportion?
You know, Amazon is certainly a disruptor in the majority of the world, the way Alibaba and their related companies are in China and Asia Pacific. And I think the disruption, though, I think in some ways is shaking up traditional paths to market, paths to the consumer, but I'm not sure it's all about the fear, right? And Amazon gives you an opportunity to talk directly to consumers and in real time read the feedback. And, I often say to brands, how often do you get a chance to read everything everyone said as they walked into the store about your product yesterday? So Amazon gives you this sense of real-time feedback and this new opportunity. And we're seeing brand after brand that says, look, we have a healthy fear of this platform, but we're also embracing it. And those brands we're seeing over-index and take share from brands that are approaching this at a more slow and careful pace. In some ways, like Amazon has characteristics of the press, right? If you play your cards right and you communicate well, people will have a good and favorable social impression and social affirmation of the product that you want them to buy. The difference is that you can't really manipulate the press. And I don't want to say you can manipulate Amazon, but you can approach it better in such a way that you will get a better opportunity to improve and influence your reviews, ratings, and perception on the platform. And that can, in many ways, get a kind of affirmation you didn't have access to before. It's really hard to affect the press, but it's not so hard. It is so complicated to affect Amazon, but it's complicated in a way that there is a methodology. Now, that doesn't, I don't want to ignore the fact that Amazon is also a path to market where there's a lot of disruption.
Now, you spend all of your time helping brands and helping WPP clients get the best out of Amazon. What are your top three recommendations of what people should be doing to engage with Amazon to get the best out of them?
So the number one recommendation I'd have is really focus on your supply chain. This is a retailer that works like no other partner. Supply chain is an assortment plan. So assortment planning, supply chain, getting your products live and getting them shipped when you promise that they'll be shipped, and shipping what Amazon asks you for is more important, believe it or not, to the success of your business on Amazon than getting the right promotion. Because if Amazon doesn't think that your product is reliably going to be in stock, they won't offer it at the top of search results, and you will get outplayed by someone with a better operations game. The second part I would say is really understand and have the product people are looking for, and really understand how people are searching for it. We had this great event in partnership with David's team in London, where I gave this. This was back in October of last year, and I gave this great example of a client of ours that was selling insoles that they thought for the geriatric community. And they had described this thing as incredible in all institutional environments, will not increase the slip and fall hazard, and great for all Velcro footwear. But when we went back in and mined the keywords and mined the customer feedback, the feedback for this product was best insole ever for post-marathon foot pain. And it's such a great example. I don't mean to necessarily reuse the exact same example, but the reason why I was thinking about it this morning is someone asked me about that example this week at that WPP event. And it's such a great example of understanding your customer in e-commerce can be different than your customer in physical commerce, and be ready to embrace who that customer is and where they want to buy and how they want to buy it. And the most nimble brands are these digitally native brands who go into every e-commerce environment understanding exactly what people are looking for, and then go in and adapt the product for that or the description.
Now, it seems hardly a day goes by without a story from Amazon or from the market saying that Amazon are about to go into category X or category Y. You've got a pretty good insight into the world of Amazon. If you're a betting man, what categories do you think they'll be in by the end of 2018?
The layup here answer is health and personal care and health and wellness. And I use the word wellness specifically because we've seen their growth in supplements. We've seen them purchase Whole Foods. We've seen that integration get bigger. Here in Atlanta, where I'm based, I can get Whole Foods, anything from Whole Foods delivered with my Amazon purchase in 2 hours. And, we've seen Instacart depart. We've seen Amazon Flex move in. I think that we're really going to see the growth of this. And we know that Amazon is not just solving for customers, but they're solving for employees with their combination with JP Morgan and some other players to try and create a health solutions for employees. And so I think that they're really going to do a lot of experiment there.
Well, Eric, you mentioned the seminar that we held in London the latter part of last year, and also in New York. The resources from those sessions will be available to you as well for people watching this broadcast, and we'll give you the resources URL to look at and download all the material at the end of this broadcast. But for the moment, Eric Heller, the founder and the chief executive of Marketplace Ignition, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.